in the Burbs with Amy and Gina.
Yes, I was going to say the same thing, Gina.
Sorry, I beat you to the punch.
I'm glad you did. Okay, so Gina has updates on the crash, the real story behind it, the prison, the
crazy story,
the Netflix documentary.
Yes.
And I'm going to talk about the Happiness Lab, my new favorite podcast. And they had a guest on there that wrote a book that said, trauma is a gift. And I'm thinking to myself, you're crazy. Trauma is not a gift. But then I find out, Gina, we're going to talk about that. It is. Also, Gina's going to update you on her life in North Carolina recently.
Oh, yes.
Hello to Mr. Edwards. Hope you're feeling well.
If you're watching, hope you're getting up and walking around today. So my dad recently, that's why we weren't here last week. And, summer's going to be a little in and out with us because vacation and caretaking and things are happening. Emergencies. But, yes, my 85-year-old father, soon to be 86, had knee replacement, Amy. And you guys have heard me talk about it. I had both of my knees replaced a year and a half, 2 years ago in 2024.
No easy thing.
It's no joke, Amy. It's no joke. I, for one, can say I know what he's going through. I know how painful it is. So I was up there for about 10 days with my mom. Helping. He was in the hospital for a while. He stayed a lot longer than most people would for a knee replacement because of his age, of course. Then they moved him to a rehab center.
In a nutshell, Gina,
nursing
the
home.
American healthcare system is broken.
It really is.
It's broken.
It's really sad. And I've had friends that have had elderly parents in nursing homes and things like that. And you hear the stories. And I remember when my grandmother was in one, both of my grandmothers years and years ago. But being there for the last 5-6 days, the caretaking, the system. Yes, let me just say this. I know they need more workers in there. I know a lot of it is the fact that they're just shorthanded. They don't have enough nurses and nursing assistants and just administrators. There's a lot of turnover because it's a very difficult place to be. It's a hard place to work. You see a lot of hard things. I saw a lot of hard things. So I have a lot of respect for people that choose this career because it's a lot. But then if you have a parent or a friend or an elderly person in this situation, you need to be there.
You need an advocate.
If
your loved one is in the hospital or some kind of system like that,
you got to be there.
Long-term care, get there as much as you can because there's all kinds of stuff with
some really crazy stuff happened.
Gina couldn't get an ice pack. Her father had a knee surgery, would not give the man an ice pack.
Because there were no orders
for an ice
in
pack.
his chart for ice pack. And that was somebody dropped the ball there, the hospital, the doctor. I don't know. He had knee replacement. That is like saying telling someone you can't have water. Ice packs are just a staple when it comes to knee replacement. You're icing on and off all day into the night. So that was just one of many things.
But
we got
drugs. Could not get the pain meds.
Yeah, because they had not been delivered.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say a lot of this I don't understand. A lot of it is behind the scenes and a bureaucracy that these hospitals and nursing homes have to deal with. And I understand that. That's the part that probably needs to be changed and looked at. I do feel for the people that work there. It's a lot. A lot of respect for them.
Yeah, because they're fighting weird rules and lots of paperwork and red tape and a lot of procedures.
But you do need someone there to fight for because if you're in your 80s and 90s, and my dad is in his right mind, although they tried to tell me that he wasn't at one point. A lot of people there are not. They are there because
if you give somebody no ice and no pain meds,
you might get at it. Go a little crazy.
You might get a little cranky.
Yeah, a little cranky. But there are people there with dementia, Alzheimer's, those types of things. That's why they're there. And so they can't advocate for themselves. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I don't want to talk too much about it, but yeah, it was a lot, Amy. It was a lot. Hello. We had a phone call, but that's okay. We're live. That's what happens.
We're live. Okay.
So Amy, what's been going on with you? Because some really cool stuff you just told me about today.
Well, I'm listening to the Happiness Lab. It's a podcast. You can watch it on YouTube or listen to it wherever you listen to
your podcasts.
And they had a guest on there who wrote the book, Trauma is a Gift. And that's so paradox, like, what, huh? And
trauma is a gift?
Trauma is a gift. And this woman had lost her husband unexpectedly. He died. And she was so shattered, and she ended up becoming a psychiatrist and studying trauma because after she came out of it, she found out all these gifts that came out of it, even though she mourned the loss of her husband every day, all these things. And she talks about how, number one, people that have trauma, they're like, oh, I'm getting divorced, or oh, this happened to my child, or whatever. And then they go, well, it's not 9/11, or it's not the Holocaust, or it's not this, and it's like they try to compare
There's
it
always
to something.
somebody's one-upping you with
like,
that. Yeah.
I'm not in, well, my child is sick, but
You're
I'm
healthy,
I'm
but
not
you're
in
okay.
Gaza.
Right.
No, like you yourself, you try to downplay your trauma. But the fact is, your trauma is your trauma. And so it's okay for you to suffer through trauma while the war in Gaza is going on. Also terrible, but you also, if your loved one is hurt or sick or left or whatever, that is traumatic. And then to talk about how Gina and I were talking about this before the show. Thank you, Gina. Big validator. She is. And talk about how if you're going through a trauma, you need to be validated for a long period of time. And it wouldn't be valuable to tell someone you're gonna come out a better person, even though you are. But at the time, you have to validate. But then slowly, you do want to transition to this part of you that's grieving. That is one part of you. But then there are many other parts going on in the world. And so to find happiness in a walk, or maybe you learn a new skill. Maybe you're going to yoga. I'm going to talk about acupuncture. You're learning something. That's beautiful. Maybe you are out in nature.
Good that comes out of the trauma. You find the good. You have to find the good. I know you have to find it in yourself, even though you're going through such a horrible thing. People that are going through trauma, you got to look for, there are some good things that are happening, but it's hard to see it, right? When you're in the middle of it.
And you can't, the whole fight or flight, Gina, is bad for you. You're fighting it. I'm going to shut it down. I'm not going to talk about it. Or I'm sorry, the fight is like, I'm going to argue about it. I'm going to be mad. The flight is, I'm going to numb myself, alcohol and drugs. I'm going to ignore it. I'm not. And so all that's fight and flight, bad. That's bad. You do have to allow yourself some space to mourn, to cry, to vent, to do whatever you have. But you can't do that forever. You can't stay in that space forever. And I was on the tennis team, and there's a lady that lost her husband many years ago. She's like, I don't believe in God. He took my husband. That was 10 years later. And it's like, she's staying in that place of negativity, of hurt. And so slowly, if you could just find a few things every day, it's like, oh my gosh, there's a baby bird nest outside of my window, or driving here, there's baby horses. That's beautiful. And so, so that's kind of step one, is to look for something good. And then invariably, almost every person that this woman says work with as a psychiatrist can look back and say, although that was the most terrible moment of my life and I was completely shattered, this is what I learned. I became more compassionate. I became a better person. I learned a new skill. I will never be the same. I will never take this for granted. Whatever, you come out of it as a completely different person.
And so you're really recommending this podcast, the Happiness Podcast, for anybody that's going through any difficult time in their life right now, trauma.
Yeah.
And
some of it, that's just one show. Another show, just real briefly, another show. That was one show. Real briefly, another show from the Happiness Lab. We want you to watch this show too. When we want you to watch this show and the Happiness Lab.
That's right.
But the Happiness Lab was saying, like, remember Malala, the young lady that got shot by the Taliban?
Yes.
When she was in an interview, this is something that she learned from being traumatized by being shot in the face, right?
Yeah.
Is when she talks about her experience, she sometimes says Malala instead of saying me. It would be like, Malala, like she's talking to herself, like
in third person,
right? Like Malala, fight back, or Malala, and it's actually
it makes it a little more powerful, maybe a little stronger.
And it's almost like it takes you out of yourself for a second.
I get it.
And it's also said it's powerful. Like, let's say so-and-so's going through a hard time with their child, and that the child needs some tough love or something, whatever. It's almost like talking to yourself as a friend. Like if I was telling you, let's say I have the child, but if you had the child and you were telling me the issues, what advice would I give you? Let's say you're going through a breakup and somebody's doing something that is not appropriate.
Right.
If you told me that, I'd be like, oh my gosh, don't put up with that. Don't put up with that. But for some reason, you put up with it yourself. So it's almost like
You have to talk to yourself.
yes,
You
like
have
a
to talk to
friend.
yourself and say, Gina,
Like a friend.
don't do that. Gina, I do that
Right.
all the time, Amy. I talk to myself a lot.
Yes, or you'd say if this thing's
But
happened.
I see what you're saying. This is a very powerful way of
Yes,
handling
if
it.
you say
I'm not trying to make light of it. It's
Right.
a serious way
it's kind
to
of
handle
like,
it.
am I making too big of a deal of this? Ask yourself, if somebody was doing this to my child,
Mm,
how would I feel about that person? If they would I encourage my child to stay in that relationship?
No.
That's just an example.
Mhm.
So anyway, that was
I
another
like
show.
that.
I know.
Wow. So this is a very good podcast. Highly recommended from
Yeah.
Amy.
Yeah.
And if you're going through any difficult time right now, I really like that, Amy. I'm glad
It
you're
says,
sharing this with
and
us.
I love this. I'm going to wrap it up with,
All right.
you're going to be better because of the pain, not in spite of the pain. You are going to act. It's not you're trying to get back to yourself. A lot of things
Mhm.
that I'm reading, it's like, get back to yourself. No. You're a
never
whole new
going to be the
person.
same
And
again.
they say this beautiful analogy that I love, and I can't remember. There's actually a name for it, where you shatter a vase.
Yeah.
And this is I think it's in Asian culture,
Yeah.
where they take the vase and they put it back together, and they use gold to put it back together. And so it's not the same vase.
And now it's
It's a
lined
better
with
vase.
gold, and
It's a
better
stronger,
and
it's a
shinier.
stronger vase. And so I
like
love
that.
that analogy.
I like that.
You're not going to be the same person. You're going to be a better person.
So become
what I
a
like
better
about it.
person
So-
of yourself.
So I'm shining the light, and now we're going to go to Gina talking about The Crash
Some really bad things.
on Netflix.
We're going from happiness
We're in a happiness
to tragic,
crazy
terrible,
crazy town.
horrible. I can't even.
It's unbelievable.
I have become obsessed with this
Gina's
whole
obsessed.
thing. And it happens, you know how I am with the whole true crime stuff. So first of all, if you haven't heard of The Crash, you must be living under a rock. I don't see how you haven't heard about it from now, because it's kind of made the headlines everywhere. Of course, a lot of people don't focus in on these things like I do, because I'm a little crazy too. But so this documentary came out on Netflix recently. It's like #1. It's called The Crash on Netflix. And it's about this girl, Mackenzie Shirella. I have a daughter named Mackenzie. I hate that they have the same
nothing
name.
in common.
I know. Mackenzie Shirella in 2022, July of 2022, right after high school graduation for her and some of her friends, the summer of 22, they had their whole life ahead of them. A beautiful summer evening in Strongsville, Ohio, Amy. It's like a suburb of Cleveland. Have you heard of it? You're
No, I'm
Ohio
on the
girl.
opposite.
Oh, opposite. Okay. Anyhow, this girl decides she's in a car.
With
It's
her
an
boyfriend.
evening with her boyfriend and her boyfriend's friend, a friend of them, not a close friend, but a new friend, as her mother said in court when she was trying to, right before her sentencing. She decides to take her car and drive it almost 100 miles an hour. I think they had it actually clocked at 97 miles per hour, going down this back road in an industrial park, and crashed into a brick wall, killing these two young men, her boyfriend, who was 20 at the time, and the friend, Davian, who was 19. Killed him instantly. She survived.
Oddly,
She was the driver. And according to the records shown, she was the only one wearing a seatbelt. Did she know she was going to do this?
why weren't they wearing a seatbelt though?
Well,
That's not her fault.
No. But just saying.
That's weird. A coincidence.
Strange. There's some, she went to trial. Of course, the trial was in 2023. And this documentary is showing the whole story. So this young woman, and originally, since she survived, she goes to the hospital. Things start getting weird and crazy. She's making TikToks from the hospital. She's on her Instagram. She's more concerned about her image. She was very much a social media girl before this happened. She was, all over the place with her TikTok. She wanted to be the next Kim Kardashian. Okay. She was all about that. She also was considered a mean girl. She was not a good person. She was a horrible person. And in the trial, they show videos of her just
plotting actually to do something like this prior.
Well, there was evidence that prior she was in a car with the boyfriend, and he was actually calling his mother, texting his mother or a family member saying, "You got to get me out of this car. She's threatening to kill me. She's threatening to wreck the car." So there's evidence that she had tried before but didn't do it. This night, it was in the early morning hours. They had been up all night partying, apparently, and it was early morning hours on this late July evening, early morning, where she crashed the car. She was convicted of murder and is serving concurrent life sentences, 15 to life, not life, 15 to life. A lot of people question those sentences. You know, they're harsh, but are they harsh enough? Plus, they were not consecutive, meaning
she has to do one then the other.
No, she just does the one for both kids who were murdered, according to the judge. If they're consecutive, then it would have been 15 to life for one, 15 to life for two. So that would be a minimum of 30 years before she's eligible for parole. Now she's eligible for parole in 2037.
What's interesting is Gina was sharing the defense of a condition.
Oh, yeah. They claim she had some medical condition called POTS. I don't know what that stands for exactly. It's when your blood pressure drops, you get a little dizzy. Mm-hmm. So they're claiming her blood pressure dropped. Okay. No. Her foot was on the pedal. They did the study of the car. They go back and they study everything that happened with the car that night. The pedal was pressed down. If she had this disorder, if she had a moment of blood pressure dropping where she was passing out, she would not have had the strength to put the pedal to the metal, so to speak, and drive that car into a wall
for an extended period
of time. And it also shows there's video of this car. It also shows prior to the speeding, the 97 to 100 miles per hour, she slowly makes a turn onto this road. They have it all on video, puts her blinker on, mm-hmm. and makes a controlled turn. So that shows for the prosecution that she was in control of the car.
Right.
She knew what she was doing, mm-hmm. and then consciously made the effort to drive the car. They also show from the the investigation that apparently the boys may have tried to grab the wheel. They shows the car going into neutral and back to drive,
trying to stop
the car, but they
did
not
off
succeed.
Jumping out of the car.
I know, it's awful.
100 miles an hour.
So Dominic and Davian, Dominic Russo was 20, Davian Flanagan, both murdered. The interesting thing now, Amy, because of this documentary, mm-hmm. all of this stuff, all the prison phone calls between Mackenzie Shirilla and her mother, so disturbing and disgusting and wrong. I mean, these parents, first of all, her parents, I don't really think she had a whole lot of parenting from what I could see, from what I gathered from this documentary. And some of the things her mother said during the sentencing,
like celebrating her TikTok success.
Oh, and her mother says that she one day prison phone calls are recorded. So, a lot of them are coming out. You can go on YouTube and just research prison phone calls, Mackenzie Shirilla. It will blow your mind. She and her mother had some wicked
fantasy world.
They had some kind of language that they spoke between each other.
What she said.
You couldn't understand it. It was very strange. It was like somebody talking in tongues. And the mother didn't speak it. The daughter did, but the mother understood what she was saying. Very creepy. Then the mother goes to her one morning on a call and says, "Oh, Mackenzie, guess what? This is after she's in prison for murder. Guess what? Your story made the Daily Mail in the UK. Oh my gosh, how exciting." And she's like, "Mom, that's amazing. Maybe Kim Kardashian will be my attorney." She wants Kim Kardashian to be her attorney if they can get an appeal. Well, guess what? Kim Kardashian came out recently and said, "No, not doing it.
And
Sorry."
Also, Gina was sharing that they're going to change the law because you cannot profit. It's like O.J. Simpson could not profit off of writing a book after his wife was murdered.
Ohio has the Son of Sam law that's very dated. So yes, so people are able to, so what they're trying to do, one of the boy that was murdered, the actual boyfriend, Dominic Russo, he has a sister, Christine Russo. She, Amy, has a podcast as well. And that podcast is called The Big Sister Unhinged. And you can go listen.
Write it down.
Yeah, The Big Sister Unhinged. That is Dominic's sister. And she is petitioning right now the Son of Sam law in Ohio, where convicted offenders cannot cash in on their crimes like this Mackenzie Shirilla is trying to do through donations, social media, sponsorship, paid interviews, documentaries, merchandise. So that can happen with these criminals right now. And that is insane. They shouldn't be profiting. When that Son of Sam law was created,
the money goes to the victims' families.
Exactly.
Profit away.
Exactly. So kudos to her. Dominic's sister, one of the victim's sister, has the podcast, Big Sister Unhinged. So I would check that out. But this whole story just has me just mesmerized.
It's shocking.
The tragedy, it's a tragedy. First of all, let's just say it's a tragedy what she did. It's a horrible, horrible thing. I don't want to glorify that
horrible.
in any way.
Like maybe she had a mental illness. Like it's horrible that she was kind of plotting and scheming that, and that was going through her brain.
She did a lot of pot.
Oh.
She smoked a lot pot.
Obviously
she did the
not
mushrooms. So you say what you want about marijuana. I don't know. I think it can affect. You're 17 years old. You're 17 years old. It affects your brain.
There's also cannabis based. It causes psychosis.
Yeah. So she wasn't right, but she's still not right in prison. She's acting like this. Apparently, there's been a lot of talk about her in prison. Some former inmates that were with her. She walks around trying to be sexy girl in prison. I don't know how you do that. Tying her little stuff,
her
really
orange shirt,
and like she's trying to be all that in prison. And it's like, come on, girl. Show some accountability. I think the victims' families.
It's very hard for people to have accountability.
I think, yeah, yes, it is, Amy. You were right about that. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest problem with these victims, the families of the victims, is they're not seeing any remorse or accountability from her or her parents. And that's hard to swallow. And I can't imagine.
It makes it difficult to move on.
Yes. So anyway, I have taken a deep dive into this story, The Crash, on Netflix. There's so many more. You've got that documentary, but you can just, listen to the phone calls. You can download all of the texts that took place between her and her boyfriend prior to this. I didn't go that far. But I think I'm just fascinated that how people get themselves in these situations. And all the more reason that, nobody's perfect. And we, as parents,
nobody
nobody
is asking anyone to be perfect.
But show some accountability. And and if you can just say, I did my best, but I don't see how these parents can even say that, allowing Gina, their kids to do all these things.
I'm going to go back if it's okay. So the poor fammy, I had some other notes. I want to talk about acupuncture.
Oh,
okay.
Of course.
So the poor family, I left out a couple parts, and Gina and I, we're reading the Peace Guidebook. And so if you remember, we want to bring you something every week that's something about peace or being happy or something that lifts up your life.
I didn't give you much happiness just now, but go ahead, Amy.
Well, I mean, that's all right. That's part of life. We want the updates. But so going along with that is the trauma thing. I forgot to say, one of the most powerful things you can do if you have any kind of trauma, and I don't mean like medical trauma. I mean like it could be a breakup. It could be an illness. It could be a friendship loss. It could be your friend moved. You're really impacted. It's like the definition
even
is
losing
trauma.
A pet, it can be very traumatic for people.
Of course.
I mean,
yes. And it's kind of like, it's like your understanding of the world has been shattered.
Exactly.
You thought you would have that person and you don't. You thought you'd have the pet and you don't. You thought you would never get sick. You get sick. But anyway, so journaling, they said, sit in a quiet place, don't have music on, be by yourself, journal, start for 10 minutes, just kind of let it flow. And they said at first, you're going to try to be like all structured, like you're writing something.
Right.
But as you do it every day, try to build up to like 20 minutes. Like the fourth or fifth week.
You've been doing your gratitude journal?
I have been doing a lot of
You've been doing a lot of journaling.
Listening to some sermons and also during journaling. So helpful to go back. But anyway, they said that's a good thing. And then another number one top thing is get into some kind of support group. And you could already have a support group. Maybe you have your two besties that carry you through. That's great. But if you don't have that, it's really important to be around people that maybe understand your situation and build you up and also kind of hold you accountable. Like, okay, it's been a lot of months now. You got to move on. And then the other thing is, I'm trying acupuncture, and I went to the first thing today.
Oh,
And my niece was going for other reasons, but she was telling me the benefits of it. And one
yeah.
of it is stress relief and how your vagus nerve, they put the needles in your ears,
In your ears?
like around your,
In your ears.
not in, but like around
Around
here.
the outer
Yeah,
the earlobe.
And then in your
Oh,
arms
wow.
and on your belly here. So if you're wanting different things, I'm sure if you're
These
in
are
there,
tiny,
teeny,
tiny
you
little
can barely
needles.
feel them. And the studies show that having an acupuncture stress treatment, it
Mhm.
makes you feel less stressed for about a week. It just,
Really?
the way it stimulates your nerves. And so I just started today. It was lovely. It's like going to a spa.
Okay, I
And
didn't realize that. It was more like a spa
it feels like a
environment.
spa. Well, I don't know, because this is the only time I've done it. But this place feels like a spa with soft music. And then they treat you, they talk to you about what you're looking for, where your physical pain is in your body. A lot of people go for physical pain. A lot of people
Mhm.
go for fertility, to quit smoking, like weird things. People go for all
Really?
kinds of things.
Okay.
And so I was going for just to kind of reduce stress. And anyway, I'm gonna keep doing that once a week. And then they said you could go twice a week and see, but I do feel better. I don't know if I have less stress, but I feel better from going. I
You went
went
this
at
morning.
11 today.
Okay, so
And I was in
next
there like an hour.
on our next show, you were going to talk about
Yeah, but
how
the
long
next show,
term.
I would have had it twice.
Okay, and then we're gonna see exactly.
And I found out Gina was interested in this. They have cosmetic, no extra
We're gonna
cost.
do some
They'll throw some
acupuncture on
noodles.
the face.
Noodles, not noodles. I'm hungry. I do want them to throw noodles at my face. Needles that look,
Well,
watch, we're looking for this.
needles.
Look, yeah, we're looking for that. We're looking
Okay.
yeah.
Needles.
Yeah. So
yeah, we've done needles before.
anyway, our point is you have to love yourself, and you can have a lot of things going on in your life, and you have so much compassion for other people, and your heart goes out because somebody else is hurting, or your heart goes out. And that's good that you're compassionate, but you have to also be compassionate and take care of yourself.
Amen. Amy Lyle. She's on a path for happiness and renewal. And I can feel it, and I feel the good vibes, Amy. And I hope our audience feels it and feels and takes your advice, because you're giving some really good advice today.
And along the way, you will strengthen friendships. Some friendships may go. That's traumatic.
Oh,
that is traumatic.
As you age, I think that is, I deal with that a lot. I have a lot of friends, but I only have a close circle that I see and talk to often. And I have friends that I don't get to see often, but I know they're there, and I know I can pick up the phone at any time and we'll catch up in no time. It just depends on where you are in your life. So before we leave,
wait, Gina's gratitude is the baby. She got a new frame with the pictures of the baby.
Yeah, I got one of those frame, where you plug it in and you download pictures
and it like flips it through.
It's totally a grandma thing. I'm not going to lie, because my mother had one years ago, and I thought, oh, that's so sweet, Mom. Now I get it, because my little baby's just rolling through my kitchen, and I can see her pictures.
Baby with the pumpkin, baby with a hat, baby.
All kinds of baby pictures.
Baby eating, so cute.
Baby in the high chair, baby on the floor, baby in your lap. It doesn't matter. I get to see her, and it makes me feel, it gives me a lot of happiness.
Okay, that's anything else on your gratitude list?
On my gratitude list?
Yeah. I have one more thing on my gratitude list.
Well, let's hear it.
Okay, so Lisa, you heard us talk about Lisa from Mom Loves Baking, and she is the real deal. So she's doing this cookbook, and she has 58 new recipes. Don't quote me, but a lot. And so she has to test every single one. If they don't turn out perfectly, guess what? She tests them again. Well, she's got this time crunch. So she's having for her book that she got invited to write, her cookbook.
A new cookbook.
So it's going to be called Mom Loves Baking Cookbook. Check out, until then, check out her blog and her Instagram.
Mom Loves Baking. We talk about Lisa a lot. She's our favorite baker and our friend.
She said, Amy, I do not bake. She said, Amy, can you bake a cake for me? I said, no, I don't even have measuring cups. I don't even have a 13 by 9 pan to put it in.
Oh, come on.
No.
Okay.
And
that's why you had the foil one that you picked up at Publix?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, exactly. So, she sent me this cake, and it's called Better Than Sex Cake. From Ohio, Better Than Sex Cake is chocolate cake with the caramel and the Heath bar. But in the South, in the 1960s, Better Than Sex Cake is a white cake. But you put same kind of thing. You poke holes in it, and you put like pineapple and sugar, pudding, instant pudding, whipped cream, cherries.
Yeah.
My mom and I made it together.
I'm so impressed.
It was amazing.
Hey, we've made stuff together.
Yes, we have. We boiled lobsters together
that's
too.
right. We've done a lot
So
of things.
that just making something and have it turn out kind of what Lisa's beautiful picture looked like.
Did you send her the picture?
I did. And she, for me, that's why she gave me that recipe, Gina, because it's pretty much
Pretty easy.
It's pretty foolproof. You know what I mean? You warm up the stuff. So anyway, learning a new thing is always fun. And so thank you, Lisa, and thank you to my mom, because it was like a really fun thing.
That
And then
was
we gave it. We
All right,
tasted it.
I want the recipe because I don't like baking either. That's not my
Easy.
thing. Not like my friend Melissa who bakes these amazing cakes, and my friend Kyla. I got two good friends. They bake. They make these beautiful birthday cakes for their grandkids. I'm like, I can't do that. Sorry. What are we watching? Anything else? I mean, I talked about the horrible.
Well, I finished Big Mistakes with
Oh.
Daniel Levy.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait for the another season of that. I love it. And I love the show Rooster.
I know, and it's
I
over.
love it, and
One
that's
season
over.
with
So
Steve Carell.
I hope they renew that. It is so sweet.
We're both obsessed with Your Friends and Family, and season 2
That's
is
over.
about one more episode.
What?
This Friday. Yes. You thought it was done because I know it, I'm not going to give it away, but I know why you thought it was done. No, there's one more episode. Episode 10 this Friday. Your Friends and Family, Apple TV with
John Hamm, Olivia
Munn,
Amanda Peet.
And Amanda Peet.
And a big cast. It's great.
A great show. Season 1 last year. Season 2 is about over. So if you haven't watched it, you can go back and binge 1 and 2. It is on Apple TV. And one more episode. And then there will definitely be a season 3, I think. I don't know. I feel like there will be.
It kind of, Gina and I both thought the first season, awesome. Second season, got a little low, but then it kind of finished strong.
And Jeff Foxworthy, our Georgia boy, Georgia comedian, has a new Netflix special coming on. It's not on Netflix. Back up. It is on Fox Nation. It is not a Netflix show, called The Joke's on Me. And it's he's talking about
his 12th special.
It's his 12th special. And he's kind of going behind the scenes a little bit about how to do a special, how to make a comedy hour-long special. So I love Jeff Foxworthy. He's just good old fashioned.
He lives here. He lives in Atlanta.
Right, Atlanta. And we had his wife, the lovely Greg Foxworthy, on our show.
Greg Foxworthy is
she's
like
adorable.
An angel. She's an angel.
She's adorable. He does a lot of stuff about her, of course, which is really cute. The one I love the most is when he talks about when she's picking out shoes and she's standing there with two different shoes on her feet, and she goes, "Which one? These or these?" And she picks up her leg and he has to choose which shoe. But anyway, it's
Jeff Foxworthy saying that. It's funny.
These or these.
These.
So, and he's just good old fashioned Southern, redneck jokes. And he talked about how he started all of that. He wrote 10 and they were good. And then he said, okay, I'll write 20 and maybe I'll write 30. And I think he's written hundreds. He said like hundreds and hundreds of these. You might be a redneck.
My favorite redneck joke is you might be a redneck from Jeff Foxworthy is you might if you have a house that's mobile.
Yeah.
But the cars parked on your lot are not. You might be a redneck.
And on the same lines, if your TV sits on top of another TV, you might be a redneck. Yeah, I like that one. And his recent one that he talked about, he said he has, how when you're younger, you have fear of missing out, FOMO. Well, now he calls it, they were giving him a hard time about this. He might need to change the word hope of missing out, homo, because, we don't want, think about it. I don't know about you. I get anxiety when I have things planned. I'm kind of becoming a homebody a little bit as I get older. You know what I mean? I don't have that fear of missing out.
Think of how we were in our 30s, and it was just like you're in a crowd. You're in a crowd. You're always going to party, and now you're like,
oh, I got to get dressed. I got to do my hair.
I got to take a shower.
I got to wash my hair. I got to do my makeup.
Talk to people. I have to do small talk.
No, let's not do that.
I'd rather hit tennis balls.
So you can watch the Jeff Foxworthy special. You can catch up with friends and family.
You can do yoga and acupuncture. Yes. You can read the book, Trauma is a Gift. If you've had trauma in your life, read the book Trauma is
And
a
the
Gift and listen
podcast.
to the Happiness Lab that has all kinds of takes all kinds. Sometimes they have those Harvard professors where they're like studying
The
happiness,
Lab. Yes.
and it's amazing. And I'm telling you, they always talk about gratitude. Keep a gratitude journal. And we're
And,
thankful for you guys.
And we are very grateful that you joined us today. So have a wonderful week. We may not be here next week. I may have to go back to North Carolina and help when my father comes home. Wish me luck. Thanks again for watching and sharing, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye. We love you. Da, da, da.